familiar questions we all ask on a daily basis is, "Oy, why didn't my car start today? Or why am I stuck in traffic? Or why do I have a job that I feel I'm not getting the satisfaction I want out of it? Or a very difficult manager? Or employees that are difficult to work with? Or am I in a very challenging marriage? Or why do I have kids that are so difficult?" And when we're going through those periods, we say, "I can't wait for that period to be over and get out of that situation so I can get on with my life." Is that really what it's all about, getting on? The story of Purim, which comes up this week, reminds us that the periods of our life that seem boring, a waste of time, or annoying, or difficult, that could be the period of life where God is putting together the pieces of the puzzle to make our life so beautiful. You see, when you read the story of the Megillah, rabbis ask a question: why the first few chapters do we even need to read? What does the first two chapters talk about? It talks about Achashverosh having a party and people getting drunk, and he killed his wife Vashti, and it goes through all the details of the party. And the question is, why doesn't the story get straight to the point? There was an anti-Semite Haman that hated the Jews, and he wanted to kill the Jews, and Esther was the king's wife, and Esther told Achashverosh not to kill the Jews. That whole introduction of the party and all the Vashti and all those details, why was it needed? The answer is, if you were living in those times and you came to a synagogue, you went to work, and someone said, "Oh, you heard Achashverosh had this wild party," you would say, "Okay, what's the big deal? I mean, why is that important to my life?" Or that his wife died, Vashti. Okay, what do I care? Or that he chose a Jewish wife. All right, it's a nice story. But you wouldn't think much of it. Only after you read the whole story and you realize that because Haman, the anti-Semite, wanted to kill the Jews, but the whole thing came into play, that we were able to be saved, is when it started off being a party that Achashverosh had. And his wife did not listen to him. And she was killed. And then later, Esther became the queen. All those details had to happen, or was in play to happen, in order for the miracle to happen. So this was a story over many years. It wasn't like this big bam miracle of splitting of the sea. The only way you noticed how everything came into play is just following all the dots and then realizing everything had to happen in order for this miracle to happen. You see, in life, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. So you have to trust that in the future, all the dots will be connected. See, the message the Rebbe derives from the Purim story is enormous. There is no moment in life that just is. There's no moment that isn't relevant to the big picture. Our Torah involves every aspect of our life. The Torah teaches us how to dress, how to eat, even how to think. The reason is because every moment matters. Eating is part of your divine mission. Sleeping is part of that mission. Even walking down the road is part of the mission. Therefore, we must live every moment correctly and inject in it with meaning. When we recognize the enormity of every moment and take every moment seriously, we can begin to see how everything is part of a divine plan. And that is where redemption is made. That is where redemption of Purim is transformed into the personal redemption of every one of us. This week I was invited to give the invocation at the House of Representatives. And I was thinking to myself, how did I get to even end up at the House of Representatives? Because a state representative, Vance Lupus, invited me. But how did I get to Vance Lupus? And how did my friendship come? And I thought about a person in my shul that said, "I'd like you to meet an individual that's running for office," and he introduced me to somebody else, and that person introduced me to someone else. And it went on for so many years over and over. And I think the Purim lesson is so loud and clear to all of us. Every day, every step of the day, every step of our life really connects one with the other. Sometimes it's very sunny, sometimes it's very cloudy. But realize every moment is a divine, godly moment. Good Shabbos.